revolutionary.
Fusion reaction in T-minus 3, 2, 1. Fusion!
You don't know the power.
The math is unfuddable.
Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
Get to the chopper!
Price go up.
Gigantic fusion reactor that just works.
Multiple income streams and real yield.
Ooh, yeah!
Jeeps can no longer dump on your heads. The revolutionary decentralized finance protocol. Fusion reaction in T-minus 3, 2, 1. Fusion!
You don't know the power.
The math is unfuddable.
Fusion reaction.
Oh, hell yeah.
The mothership.
And what's it gonna do?
Everybody excited.
Oh, hell yeah.
Give my creation! Fusion.
Get ready to rumble.
Fusion.
Gotta do a huge shout out to Cool Sheet. That song just hits.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. This is our weekly live stream. We come to you every Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, and my co-host with the most is back, LA, and welcome back to the Cool Sheet intro. I know one of your favorites for sure.
What's up, guys? Yes, that got me going. Let's go.
Awesome. Yes, there's going to be a lot of let's fucking go today. We are on fire. Lots of updates in the whole ecosystem. We'll go over all that. Supply shock is happening right in front of our eyes. We have an announcement about a new EMP ETF. We'll talk about all that. I wish we had a real ETF, maybe one day, that's actually on the stock exchange, but the ETF in terms of the Dex Finance ecosystem. But lots and lots of info tonight. So make sure you grab a drink and hang out and ask some questions. We are live on YouTube and on X. And that being said, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps us get the word out and get in front of more eyeballs. So, all right, to start things off, the market again is really trying to make a comeback. We saw a nice little rally yesterday. Now today we see a little dump again. Again, this is all manipulation. We went over this in depth on the last AMA in terms of where we are with a market update. But, again, nothing fundamentally has changed. I can't believe that we see ETH, in the 2000 range. I think that's an absolute bargain. The big players are still on ETH. All the, volume, the history, the institutions are Bitcoin and ETH. I mean, you can't argue with that. So I don't think that we'll see ETH go away by any means. And I think that again, this is all coordinated manipulation so that the big players can load up at cheaper prices. I still think we're on track for new all-time highs later this year, and maybe even an extended cycle going into 2026. Again, that doesn't mean there won't be volatility. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another dump on Bitcoin into the mid 70s. But if that did happen, it would be literally one of the last opportunities before we go above 100K and stay above 100K for this foreseeable future. So we're a lot closer to the bottom than a top, in my professional opinion, being in crypto for 10 years plus now. It's all this cycle is definitely different because the institutions are here. But when you just zoom out and really look at the big picture, fundamentally everything is still the same. So all right, LA, any opening words? We're glad to have you back. I know Grover did a great job helping fill in last week, but nobody can take your place, LA, for sure.
Yeah, big shout out to Grover for coming on last week. I heard it was amazing. I'm back feeling refreshed, had some great family time, and ready to rock and roll with all of you. It's been a great week to come back to in terms of Fusion and Peg and the excitement in the chat. So tonight's going to be a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's a perfect segue to jump right in. I know I'm excited as ever. We're seeing the supply shock and peg recovery play out right in front of our eyes. And that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart, do some screen sharing. But LA, you want to maybe go over a little bit of, we're in the point threes now, which is unbelievable. The
Yes.
momentum is here. It's been really, really killer. So yeah, go ahead.
What's really crazy is that we only just hit 0.3 yesterday and we're already at 0.3371. And when I made the notes this morning, we were at 0.31 something. So it's just absolutely incredible how fast things are happening. Like AJ said earlier, we have the supply shock happening right in front of our eyes. We're on a record-breaking rise back to peg. And I believe AJ is going to show that, yeah, the chart. This is just incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we said that it could go parabolic, and that is kind of what we're seeing. Now, I do want to just preface this to everybody. There will be volatility. So if we do see some sell-offs, please don't panic. If anything, it's an amazing opportunity to get one last bite at the apple and one last chance. We actually saw that late last night. We saw some crazy volume, but this wick got eaten alive. I mean, again, we went down and we went right back up. So things are still looking super promising. Again, we could see a full peg recovery even sooner than what we all anticipate. So that's the thing with supply shock is it happens slow and steady until it doesn't, and it can be pretty violent when it finally happens. So again, don't be afraid if there is some sell-offs. It's a great way to get involved. And get one last chance to get involved in Fusion. And we'll talk a lot about Fusion too, why it's so important to sacrifice because the less EMP on the market, the less we deal with this volatility. But some of the projections, are literally pegged within days. Some are weeks, but definitely no more than a couple months at this trajectory. It's been insane. And remember, the peg bonus is really important because that is fundamentally what drives the FOMO of people buying and sacrificing is nobody will ever be able to get as good a deal as they are right now in terms of buying EMP off the market and sacrificing it. So looking really, really good. Volume is up. We had like 40K of volume today almost in the last 24 hours, which has been awesome. And again, a lot of people are just buying and sacrificing as well. So, all systems are looking really good. But
AJ, I have
yeah,
to tell you the craziest thing I just noticed.
yeah, totally.
So I wrote these notes for our we write just little bullets for what we want to cover on the AMAs, and I wrote those this morning. And this morning, well, first of all, yesterday, peg bonus was at 3.28. This morning, when I wrote the notes, it was at 3.19. Right now, we're at 2.97. We are officially below the 3x.
Wow. That's pretty incredible. Yeah, and I'll pull up the Fusion Watch and go over that too. But man, in just that short amount of time, that's incredible. And we did see some rebalancing. Again, that's another really cool part about the vaults, which we'll talk about in a minute. For those of you that did put some LP in Dex Finance vaults, we had a rebalance just right before we went on stream, and that alone helps. With this, you see this big candle right here, that alone helped with some buying pressure. So remember, as we're going up, a vault rebalance will also help, buy EMP and then repair it as LP. So, but before we get to that, I just want to show, I mean, even the USD chart is looking pretty good. I mean, we've been really trying to focus on showing this chart, which is the ETH comparison chart, because we're outperforming ETH as long as there's more buys than sells on EMP, which there has been for literally probably 2 months. I mean, as you can see here, since February, mid-February, um, that's a much clearer picture because it doesn't factor in ETH price appreciation. This does. So even though this chart looks a little flatter, that's because ETH has gone down for the last 2 months. And that's why the chart looks like this. But even this chart is really bullish. We're kind of forming a wonky cup and handle there that again hopefully shoots us back up over. And remember, with ETH being down, it's also really bullish in terms of peg because even at a full recovery, peg is at 50 cents rather than a dollar, just because the price of ETH is half. So you're getting a lot more EMP at a lot lower of a dollar value at these levels, which again is really healthy for the ecosystem in locking up as much EMP as possible. So, all right, that was all the chart talk. Let me go over to Fusion Watch, LA. Was there any other points you wanted to make real quick before we pull this up?
Let's see. Well, kind of to just reiterate what you already said, but with ETH price being low and now 2.98x peg bonus, this really is a golden opportunity to purchase EMP and deposit into Fusion. One big reason is because we're seeing our microgrid values massively and steadily rise as we get closer and closer to peg. Today alone, I've seen my microgrid value majorly go up in value. I also noticed that my ownership percentage is a tiny bit down. So you know what? I'm happy about that because that's a good sign. It means more and more people are depositing into Fusion. And I really want to highlight what happens when we get back to peg, because a few very important things happen and it looks like it's happening sooner rather than later. So let's go over them. The first one is that we start a second wave of our marketing efforts in AMA Train. So there's going to be a lot of press and marketing around the rise back to peg, and one of the only DeFi projects who have ever managed to regain peg, not to mention one of the only original DeFi projects to survive over 3 years. Secondly, which I know a lot of you are excited about, we get to move on to stage 2 of our ecosystem recovery plans, which means a major focus on getting eShare prices back up, activities that encourage rising APRs, and additional rewards within Fusion. Right now, a lot of the additional rewards have gone towards getting back to peg, right? And finally, we can move on to that second stage where we really are able to focus on boosting rewards within Fusion. And then finally, when we're at a position where all the liquid EMP is held within Fusion, APRs are on the rise, and we have this massive marketing happening around it, we as a community are in complete control of our destiny moving forwards, because that's when we can really ramp things up and make it competitive to get into Fusion. And the only way to get in is to purchase part or all of a microgrid. And that's where we have the power to determine what we sell our microgrids for. And we have the potential to realize the full values of our microgrids should we decide to sell. Because when we can get into that spot where it's competitive to get into Fusion because APRs are so good, all the EMP is inside, we're doing all this marketing, that is the sweet spot where we have the control as the individual owners inside Fusion. And that's where we're working on getting to. And what we're seeing this week is this acceleration towards the end of stage 1. And we have 2 more stages to go before we get to that absolute sweet spot. And we're making incredible momentum towards it. But I just want everyone to realize that depositing into Fusion with your EMP will always be the most profitable option. And maybe AJ can kind of go over why that is.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I still think people are maybe holding off some EMP to take profit when we do recover. And again, we're not here to sell shame anybody. A lot of you have been with us for a long time, and whatever is your prerogative is your prerogative. However, when you break it down just based on math, you're actually able to realize your gains and earn the entire way plus some when we do recover peg, like LA said earlier. All that additional revenue will be funneled to payouts rather than peg recovery. Um, and it really is a no-brainer. I mean, even though, again, you would have to sell your microgrid on the secondary market, we said we're actively going to be buying back microgrids as a protocol. And that is really bullish, not only for potential exit liquidity for people that want to leave without hurting the chart, but also because when we buy those microgrids, we're reducing the ownership and the SAC points overall. SAC points then become deflationary at that point, which is again really powerful because even when we distribute the same amount of rewards, if we're doing it over a less amount of SAC points or less amount of people, then the APR automatically goes up. So it really is a no-brainer to sacrifice. Again, I get it. People don't really do the math themselves, but you're getting that full peg bonus and you're earning along the way and you're helping the protocol by getting rid of the liquid EMP. It's just a win-win-win. So, um, and again, I mean, some people will sell EMP on the way up. Just be prepared for that. And that's an opportunity for all of us to buy it and tack it because if we're buying the EMP that people sell on the way up and sacrifice that into Fusion, it's mathematically guaranteed that they will not be able to do that as time goes on. So again, this is why we're so confident in peg recovery because we built a system that is completely reliant on math, and math doesn't lie. So really, really powerful stuff. Again, I could not be more excited for this, and we have seen sacrifices. Um, Dwindle a little bit. So I would encourage all of you to try to do your part with this. Again, you're building your ownership. You're still able to get out down the road if that's what you choose. It's not a sunk cost that people get scared with in some staking protocols. But when you really break it down, I mean, again, $22 per wallet would get us to our goal this week, and $33 per wallet would get us to the piggy dance challenge. So when you really, and this means per wallet, every wallet that is in Fusion, if they were to buy just an additional $33 or an additional $22 and sacrifice that, then these goals will be met. So when you break it down in that little tiny amount, and I get it, $22 might be a lot of money for some people, but we're almost there. I mean, the numbers were so close. You see it happening. The chart is responding. I mean, literally everything that you would want to see is happening, and it's not just LA and I getting on an AMA anymore and talking about it. We're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. So really, really powerful
Yes.
stuff. Yeah.
One thing I want to point out is the overall EMP that needs to be purchased and deposited into Fusion in order to reach PEG is 217.98 thousand. The weekly goal is 150,000. We've surpassed that so many times in the past few months. And I want you to look at those numbers very closely because the 217 is less than 2 times of this weekly goal. So if we can work together and reach this weekly goal, we could be less than a week away from hitting PEG. But at the pace of this current week so far, our 1 week trend is looking at the end of May. And so I want you guys to realize that it is completely in our power to reach peg very quickly if we decide that we're all going to participate and we're all going to work towards it. It is possible for it to take months longer if we don't. And so I know it's easy to kind of watch these things and kind of rely on everyone else to get us there, but we all individually, every single one of us, need to put $10, $100, $1,000, whatever we have. And obviously, nothing we say is financial advice, but we want to get there together by all rowing in that amazing dragon boat together towards this island called Peg that is very close to our view now. And when we get there, AJ has this amazing flag he's going to plant on that beach, and we're all going to have a yacht party and celebrate. So
I love it. Let's go. Yeah, hell yeah, LA. So 100%. And I mean, I get it. A lot of you might be, tapped out. I know we always say buy the dip, and then buy the dippity dip. It just keeps going down. But obviously, this will. And I'm not talking about the EMP ecosystem. We've gone up the last 2 months. I'm talking about the overall market. But that being said, tell a friend. I mean, again, I know uh, it can be a little touchy when you recommend something to a friend. If it ends up not working out, obviously you feel bad. But really, at just $22, have them start a microgrid, have them add to their position, and just see how it goes. I guarantee you that they're going to be really excited in the next few weeks when they're essentially getting a 3x on their microgrid value from here. So. Um, the beauty of this is that we don't need new participants in Fusion, but new participants absolutely help the end goal too. So again, it's not Ponzi-nomics, it's not reliant, but you can't argue that new participants helps the ecosystem for sure. So, and again, just to go over some of the stats here at the bottom, again, these pay trends are pretty incredible. I mean, again, the 1 week pay trend is even the most optimistic is 44 days. I think it's going to be could be a lot sooner than that for sure. So and yeah, the look every day has been green in terms of the peg pulse, and the real metrics that matter are right here. This info uh, card right here. Again, like Elder was saying, we are now in the twos in terms of a bonus. I remember we were doing when Fusion launched, we were at the sevens. I mean, just think about that for a minute and go back and listen to some of the old AMAs. I mean, literally everything that we're saying has come to life. So really really
also,
powerful. And look, even ETH, down 3%, just in the last 24 hours, and we're up 3%. So that's a 6% spread of value against Ethereum at these levels, which is just killer.
Also, AJ, I'm not a math person, so I'm not going to comment on the exacts of this because I can't even remember exactly what it was at. But when we first launched Fusion, ETH was at a higher price, and so
Yeah.
then was EMP. And so even though you were getting a 7x bonus, every EMP costs more to buy. And so now there's this 2.95. Wow, it's gone down while we've been on the stream. There's this 2.95x, but ETH is the lowest it's been in a very long time, which means that that has an effect on the EMP price. Even though we're way outpacing the ETH, we can get more EMP for every dollar that we spend. So
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the bonus multiplier is still roughly the same, even with the dollar values being up or down. But to your point, LA, you're getting way, way more EMP at lower dollar values. So again, your ownership in Fusion is potentially larger, buying EMP at these levels. And again, I know a lot of you have either earned your EMP or were buying at higher levels. So, we try to keep it as fair as we can, but there is some gamification involved in Fusion, and that I think is what we're trying to illustrate is like take advantage of the dips and when EMP is cheaper, because it essentially spreads out your entry price into Fusion. And as long as you're in the protocol long enough, when we are at peg, then it literally nobody would have gotten into Fusion before that at a loss. So again, that's when all-time highs happen. There are no losers in the entire ecosystem. So again, that's all really really cool to think about on this crazy journey that we've been on from like LA said, 3 years, no exploits, completely recovered peg. We're gonna have a hell of an AMA train around all of that for sure. Cool.
Amazing. Can we go over to the FW Labs page?
Yes, absolutely.
And I believe the boys made some improvements to this to make it even more functional, easy, and precise. So that's pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah. Do you want to go through it? Do you want me to explain it? Go ahead.
Yeah, let's just take a look at the what kind of automatically populates there. Oh, yours is different than mine, actually. Whoops. I'll tell you what populates on mine. It populates to 10K SAC points, and today's ETH price, which is 1978, and
Okay. Yeah. I can probably update it.
oh, I would need to do some manual math still. Oops.
Yeah, it may be specific to your wallet. I don't know. I know they were messing with this just today even. So
No, I
yeah.
just thought it showed the price of that 10,000 SAC points, but it doesn't. I still have to calculate it. So I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
Okay.
Times. Okay, so 10,000 SAC points at today's ETH price would be, 10,000 SAC points at today's price of 0.1665 would be $1,665. And automatically your microgrid value is 4.95x. I guess that's when we're back to peg, or is that now?
Yeah, no, I should. Well, the microgrid value at peg.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
at
yeah,
peg.
yeah,
So already it triples at peg.
yeah, totally. Yeah, again, that's the multiplier on the homepage showing, just under 3. Again, that's how the math works. So
And when we are at higher ETH prices, let's even say like 3,000, which we were at 4,000 or 4,200 not long ago.
yeah,
That
there you go.
$1,665 turns into 7.5K.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
it's a no-brainer that as we get back to peg and as ETH goes back up, or the whole market goes back up, we are looking at incredible microgrid values. We've already seen them go way up this week as we rise back to peg. And AJ, I know that we cannot predict APRs in Fusion in the future, but that $7,500 that they have as their microgrid value, if there's even a 5% APR, which is extremely, extremely low, they're earning every month. So
Yeah, 100%. So again, and to that point, I mean, again, a yearly APR of 5%, that again is ultimately extremely conservative. I mean, and you see that you are still earning, but to that, I mean, we have, and we'll talk about revenue streams at the end because it really solidifies what we're doing. I mean, even if you calculate an APR of say 30% or 40%, knowing what you actually paid for your microgrid, you're actually getting way, way more in terms of APR. Again, it's a 3x. So a 30% APR actually turns into a 100% APR because you didn't pay the actual market value for that microgrid. Again, it's based on your actual ROI, return on investment. So that is to illustrate how conservative and how potentially bullish the payouts can be, because I know everybody, everybody wants to know how much can I earn in Fusion, and that is why Fusion was designed, is to be a passive earner for everybody involved. We just have to get there. So again, I mean, as I mentioned a little earlier, we have very specific steps in the process, and right now that first step is to recover peg and maintain peg. And once that is achieved, then step two is again funneling every bit of resources into Fusion payouts, which will then, get people excited, want to get into Fusion even more, and with very little downside risk, having exposure to crypto and earning even 30 or 40% APR, that is a unicorn in the space. And I mentioned it in some of our chats. We have relationships with hedge funds that would kill for that sort of a return. So, again, once we prove that we can do it and all the revenue streams are firing and we are, buying back microgrid and sacrifice points and burning them, those APRs are mathematically only going to go up. Again, because there's less people that are receiving those rewards. And then the final stage is where there are no more, there's no more EMP in existence. Everybody that owns a microgrid is earning so well compared to other, investments, real estate, even stocks, that they don't want to sell their microgrid. They want to hold on to it. And then microgrid value could be, you know, 5 times peg value because it's so lucrative to have it. Again, think of, New York real estate or any sort of rental property. If you're cash flowing and you can sell it for above market value because not only do you have equity in that property, but now it's producing you income, every week. So again, that is the whole goal with Fusion, and we're getting there. I was going to say slowly but surely, but it hasn't been so slowly lately, for sure. So, all right, awesome. Any other notes on this part, Ellie?
No, thank you for doing a much better job explaining that than I did.
Yeah, no worries. Again, and the guys are always tweaking this. Shout out to John and Grover. They've been the dream team in terms of our UI and stats. We have some more metrics we'll go over in a minute too. So they've been killing it. Really creating what I compare to our own Dune analytic website for all of our ecosystem alone, which again is really, really cool. And thank you to them for sure. If you can't see my my screen here, I don't know if it shows, but their wallet address is here at the bottom, and any kind of support for them is greatly appreciated for sure. Cool. All right. What's next, LA?
Amazing. Next is to give a update on the migration.
Yes. So, all right. Let me. Well, I guess. Yeah. Let me come back here. Hang on. Yeah, that way I can look at the notes again. Bear with me here. All right, so I was busy today. I locked myself in my office, and we finished pretty much sending all the EMP that was due. So if you submitted to the form, you sent your EMP ETH LP or your liquid EMP. Everybody should have it. Literally, I think there's probably 6 or 7 people that I haven't gotten to yet. But other than that, we're done. So congrats to all of you. Again, apologies it took so long, but literally line by line was very tedious doing it all. But we're good now. If you didn't get your what you think you're due, I guess, then LA, we want them to open a ticket on Discord, right? What's
No,
first? No, how
I
do you want
would
to do it?
say that we have 19 left to finish, so we'll finish those first. If you did not qualify, say for example, you purchased your EMP on or after February 13th, or you split your LPs before sending them after the liquidity had been removed, then we're going to do a round of just sending back the asset that was sent to us if you didn't qualify, just to be as fair as possible. And we will make another announcement on next Thursday's AMA. I'm going to officially close the form today because it's been an extra week. I think it's been about 7 weeks instead of 6. And we were meant to have the manual form migration open for 1 month. It's been 5 weeks of that. So we are going to close that now that most people have received theirs. And next Thursday, we'll do another announcement that everything's done. And at that point, if you haven't received it, then we'll have you open a ticket. I just want us to get everything else cleaned up first because we'll end up getting 19 tickets from the people that are remaining to be sent to.
Okay, 100%. So there you go. There's the game plan. Again, the majority of you should have it, and again, I think a lot of you. Maybe that's why we were seeing a little bit of decline on sacrifices. A lot of you now have that liquid EMP to go in and sacrifice. I mean, again, no better place to put that EMP than into Fusion and working for you as we go. So, all right, awesome stuff. So that handles the original migration. I want to also cover the legacy contracts and the USDT batteries. So I did get word from the devs today. We're literally like hours away from rolling out the legacy contract migration. All the code is done. They're just final testing that everything goes through, and then we'll have an announcement that tells you what to do. The goal is that you're gonna visit either the old EMP site or the dexSwap page. That again is yet to be finalized, but you'll just sign a transaction, and then that will give you the credit that you were due in terms of detonator, reactor, NFTs. All of that is on chain. Nothing you need to do. No more forms. We have all of it ready, and then we'll also publish the math that we're using on the crediting system as well in that post. So, long story short, another day or two maybe, but we'll have an announcement in all of our socials, and we'll tell you what to do to get credit. And I know a lot of you are anxiously waiting that for the legacy contracts, and then the USDT batteries. And then I can answer questions here, but the batteries, again, we submitted that form to the devs, and those will just appear in your wallet with the pending rewards that you were meant to get as well. So that I don't think, again, as long as you fill out the form, you don't need to do anything. And again, that should be in the next couple of days as well. So both of those are in the final stretch. And yeah, again, if you didn't get a battery or there's issues, we'll cross that bridge next week. Just let the devs cook and let's get it all out before we start opening tickets and all that. But anything you want me to clarify with those 3 things, LA?
No, I think that's pretty self-explanatory unless anyone has questions.
All right, yeah, if you do have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat. So, all right, I think we were going to go over how to buy EMP and eShare again, right?
Yes.
I can share my screen.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Right before we do that, I
Yeah.
didn't hear whether or not you mentioned the USDT batteries in that.
Yeah, I did. Yep, I did.
Okay,
But I
great.
can go over it again. So
No,
that
I
as
just
long as
missed
you
it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
good.
as long as you filled out the form, you're good to go. That will happen automatically. Both your battery will appear again, and you will get the pending rewards that were due as well. So
Okay, perfect.
yeah,
Sorry, for some reason I missed that part.
yeah,
All right,
no
yes.
worries.
So we've been getting a lot of questions about dexSwap and how to purchase EMP and eShare. So we wanted to go through it tonight and just make it really, really easy and simple to just follow along with this little tutorial. Reminder that we did soft launch dexSwap, and so we are still continuing to make improvements on it. And so far, the easiest ways to purchase EMP is with Ethereum, and eShare is with BNB because that's where we have the liquidity. So
Yeah, 100%. I'll explain that a little bit more here in a second. So this is dexSwap.com. Again, this is where all the liquidity and the future home of literally all the swapping with all of our tokens on every chain will be. We're going to hopefully support all top 10 chains. Right now, we have the MVP on Binance Smart Chain or BNB network. The next will be Arbitrum. The one after that will be Pulse, and then ultimately, base, Sonic, all the big chains. So that is exciting for sure. But in order to buy, you want to go to the trade tab. And here, actually, I'm going to go ahead and start on liquidity just real quick, just to show. These are all the pairs that we have currently in the ecosystem, and anybody can add an LP pair here as well. So if you're a developer, and you don't want to be dealing with front-running bots, or you want to have V3 capability, eventually V4 with hooks as well. This is your decks to go to. So and our fees are really competitive. We charge the same, if not less, than Pancake and Uni. And by utilizing the decks, those fees stay within our ecosystem. So this is a revenue stream for us as we grow and become a multi-chain dex. We could be making literally hundreds of thousands of dollars a day in revenue by having volume and projects from every chain use our DEX. It will also again allow us to integrate the vaults directly with our own LP, which is bullish. We basically are earning twice that way. Obviously, the multi-chain bridge, and a lot of you have been asking about futures returning. That will happen as well once we get a few more chains under our belt. But this is a great little way to see the liquidity, the volume, and the pairs. But if you want to actually buy or sell, you want to go to trade. And again, LA mentioned it, but actually, let me go back one more time. All right, so right now, because all of our liquidity is still pretty low and we're kind of bootstrapping everything, you do have to trade directly into each pair. What that means is, you see right here, ETH EMP, that means that you have to have Ethereum when you're buying EMP. Same with eShare, eShare BNB. You have to have BNB when buying eShare. GG, you have to have ETH, and then you can swap again between ETH BNB or any of these other pairs. Just be aware that there is some slippage with those. You're probably better off buying larger amounts from PancakeSwap or any of the other dexes until we're able to get all this uh, liquidity added. And then at that point, we will enable routing, which allows you to buy any token with any asset. So what I just said about making sure you're using ETH to buy EMP, that doesn't matter anymore. But for right now, it does matter. And again, you would go to trade and you would choose ETH up here. And again, this is ETH on the BNB chain. So you can buy that ETH on any other exchange, PancakeSwap or CowSwap or Kyber. I don't know. There's a ton of different dexes. But you would go ETH to EMP. And that's how you would buy it. So again, and then for eShare as well, again, just BNB to eShare. So, and it should go through. Again, there's plenty of liquidity on those pairs. Slippage should be really minimal and really powerful in terms of getting your positions without being front run or sandwich botted or any of the other issues we were seeing on PancakeSwap with our assets. So, all right, did that explain LA? Anything else?
Yes. And can you just explain if they're purchasing their EMP on PancakeSwap, which version of EMP is that?
Yeah, so that is the old EMP. All there is maybe a little tiny bit of liquidity on the new EMP on PancakeSwap, but you are gonna get wrecked doing that. So if you're trying to buy EMP on PancakeSwap, that is the old EMP, and you're not getting any credit. That's why we did this whole migration. So again, do not buy EMP on PancakeSwap. Make sure you're buying it on dexSwap for the best price and to make sure that it is the real EMP now that we have migrated.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Awesome. All right. What's up next on our list?
CashYaps.
Oh, all right. Awesome. So yeah, let me I don't have anything to show for that, but let me pull up my screen just so I can talk and look again. One minute here. All right, so we have a lot of updates within the ecosystem, both DexFi and EMP. So CashYaps is something we teased on the last AMA. I'll have more info hopefully this week as we enter into beta. But CashYap is a brand new protocol driven by Gia, our AI project over with the DexSwap guys that will actually be an influencer platform. So again, a lot of us, have had these struggles in getting influencers and people to promote our protocols. Cash Apps is a really cool solution to that, and we utilize AI technology to actually track conversion rates because again, a lot of you may not know, but if you're a project lead or a developer, you get 900 emails and DMs a day from people that want to promote your project, but they charge, slave labor wages, and 9 times out of 10, well, 9.9 times out of 10, it's all scams. They don't actually do what they say they're going to do. And so with Cash App, you're able to actually have legitimate influencers bid on, covering projects that is actually we can track the deliverables and metrics utilizing AI. So it's really, really cool. Again, I'm doing a horrible job explaining it just because there's so much to it. And this is unlike anything we've seen in the crypto space in terms of uh, advertising. And that is one thing that we really have struggled with both from DexFi and EMP, finding great coverage. I mean, obviously, LA does an amazing job lining up the AMAs, and we've had great success doing those. Um, but other coverage is really difficult. I mean, LA, I don't know if you want to elaborate, but it takes literally days of research
Oh,
to find out what Twitter and what Telegram groups are even legitimate, right?
yeah, these days it's getting harder and harder because there's so many Twitter, especially, and Telegram influencers and groups that are just all fake followers and fake engagement. And I go through every single one, researching to find them in the first place, and then going through all of their posts and comments and videos and all of that. And I've gotten very good at assessing whether or not they are real and legit, but it's very time consuming. And then once you find someone that you want to go with, you have to contact them and negotiate. And this just makes it so much easier because there's already prices, there's already ratings and all kinds of that stuff. So it's just going to be much more simplified and less time consuming.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I know I see Crypto Kings in here, one of our dedicated influencers. I mean, not only is this going to be incredibly powerful for projects, but it's also incredibly powerful for those that do have platforms and, private groups or Twitter followings or YouTube channels. And there will be referral programs involved as well. So, again, this is a big undertaking. It's kind of been something we've been building in silence, just with our heads down, getting it done, and we'll have a full release with this in hopefully the next few weeks. So again, there is we're already in beta, and we'll bring on Jake, Dex CEO Jake, to really give a full breakdown. But that will be the first real um, tech stack related to Gia. So I know a lot of you, got involved with Gia, and we have Gia is essentially the actual autonomous agent that is behind all of these things. So CashYaps, Gia is also we're in the process of implementing Gia into the vaults where you can literally just ask Gia what vault is the most profitable. Give Gia some info on what like maybe you like ETH or maybe you like Sonic. Maybe you give her some parameters of what tokens you're looking to get and what APR you're looking to get, and then Gia can literally tailor a vault strategy for you on the vault. So again, that's amazing. Nobody is doing that. I mean, AI right now is tweeting a token to launch it. I mean, that is like cutting edge technology. To have an actual agent build portfolio strategies for you and then literally show you what to do, I mean, that is real AI at work. So super excited for that. And that should obviously help Gia price Cash Apps as well. We're probably gonna have the payment system in Gia token, so you'll need to have uh, uh, that, and that will help the price of Gia as well. Not financial advice. All right, so yeah, big updates on that. Again, and we can bring Jake in on the next AMA or the one after when we're finally ready to unveil all that. So, all right, I have two other
Amazing.
updates. Yeah, and one thing I forgot to go over is, and it's in the title today, the new EMP ETF. So we have added an ETF to the vaults. So I was on the developer test site, so I can't share that because I can't get rid of the URL, and I don't want all of you going to the developer test site. But it's live as we speak, so within the next few hours, it'll be pushed to the main vaults page, and let me show you what that means. Hang on, I'll share my screen again. Bear with me here. All right, so this is the ETF page on dexVaults, Dex Finance rather, under the ETF page. Right now, the only two ETFs for BSC are the Mega Cap, which is ETH and Bitcoin, and the Gray Swan, which is USDC and BNB. So there will be a third option now called the EMP ETF, and what that is a three-way split between Ethereum, EMP, and eShare. So you can build a vault that will take profit into the EMP ETF that will automatically put buying pressure on EMP, eShare, and Ethereum for you. And rather than burning that ETF for profit, you can just break that ETF and get more EMP, more eShare, and more ETH. So again, I know unless you're really familiar with the vaults, that might be really overwhelming what I just said. So we'll do a full tutorial on this on the next AMA, and I know Grover is already building some vault strategies for all of you to get in, but it will be really important that we do this as a community. So let me just show an example here. All right, if we search by, all right, so this is one of the AILMs on BSC utilizing Pendle and BNB. So this is earning roughly 0.5% daily. We'll have a version of this that will have the EMP ETF rather than the big cap ETF, And so, you would just be providing liquidity for Pendle BNB. You'd be earning, roughly 0.5% daily. And then that is actually providing buying pressure on EMP, eShare, and Ethereum that you could then keep to either speculate or sacrifice, maybe break your ETF. And now you can sacrifice into Fusion with that EMP and keep the eShare, uh, you know, for right until it moons, and then use the ETH to do whatever you want with. So again, it's basically a built-in strategy to earn while we continue to recover peg, and it will help with peg recovery as well. I mean, if we can get a couple of grand, if not tens of thousands, into one of these vaults that's utilizing the ETF, it could be hundreds of dollars a day buying pressure on EMP and eShare together. So again, it's really, really cool. And we'll do a full tutorial on this for next week's AMA for sure. But does that make sense, Ellie?
Super bullish.
Yeah, totally. And again, while there is still EMP, that ETF is really powerful. But the ultimate goal is that we remove EMP from that ETF, and it's only eShare and and ETH because there's no more EMP left to buy. So that is the ultimate goal. But yeah, just again looking to the future. So all right, awesome. And then
This
one
is a
more
good
thing. Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
a good question from Richard. What happens on those vaults when EMP is gone?
Yeah, so the vaults will be there because again, you're earning the vault itself is actually Pendle BNB. Again, Pendle's a great protocol. Um and you're earning from that volume. So the vaults won't go away. But the ETF would then just not have EMP in it anymore. And the vaults that will go away are these, the actual EMP ETH LP vaults that you can see down here. This one and any of the other ones that have EMP ETH LP, because there will be no more EMP ETH LP. So those vaults, yeah, without any EMP, those vaults would go away for sure. All right, cool. Any other questions about this?
No, I think we're good, and then we'll hit the rest of the questions at the end.
All right, yeah. So one more thing. Again, I know we kind of jumped around all over the place today, but I just wanted to highlight BrokeNoMo. Again, we unveiled this last week. This is our real yield meme token, as Grover has affectionately called it, a reflecto meme. So really, really powerful economics behind this. It is a proof of concept for us. Unfortunately, Pulse Chain has just been an absolute disaster over the last week. There's been a lot of infighting, some potential exploits on other tokens that is affecting the overall ecosystem. And again, I don't want to really go too much into that right now, but the whole idea is that again, why did we launch on Pulse? Because it is a proof of concept, and with all the turmoil that's happening on Pulse, this is an incredible time to accumulate Pulse at low prices. And the way this token works, you basically buy it and hold it, and you get PLS, a dividend in your wallet every single day. So if you don't like the idea of having to time the market, but you still have hope that Pulse turns around and you want to buy, you want to get PLS at low prices, this is really an incredible option. And again, uh, part of the taxes also go into the vaults to generate real revenue that will buy and burn more money indefinitely. So it really doesn't even rely on the success or failure of Pulse. Again, Pulse has to still work as a chain. But if you're still, and I absolutely think that Pulse will still work as a chain. I think we're just in a really crazy time right now in terms of sentiment. But that being said, we have all the eyeballs, all the market share, everything that we would need to have work on Pulse, and not reliant on the price of Pulse itself. because we just buy and burn Mo. In fact, it's probably even more bullish as the price goes down, because we're able to buy and burn more of that token. And again, just by holding it, you're getting dividends, and in your wallet. So if you haven't bought any, again, not financial advice, maybe grab some. On this dip, we made a nice triple bottom right here, while the rest of the ecosystem, is hurting. We're still plugging along. And I mentioned a few times, we can absolutely do this sort of model on other chains, and that is something that is in the works for sure. And why it matters to everybody is that the more volume and the more we're able to put in the vaults from BrokeNoMo, that is better for us and revenue for us as a protocol, from the vault fees. So again, the whole idea is that, and we already have about 5 grand. I mean, the token has only been live for a few days, and there's already over $5,000 in the treasury address earning on the vaults. And so, that could easily be hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next few months. So, and again, all the volume and all the fees from the vaults go to support GDEX and Fusion and eShare and everything that we are building as an ecosystem for sure. So, all right. Oh, and more metrics. One more thing. All right, so Grover and John put together the Mometrics page for us, and this is really bullish again. Even with the low volume, only doing 5K a day in volume, we're still seeing a yearly APR in the 30% range. So this could easily, be hundreds of percent APR, and again, non-inflationary, as things move up. And if you take into account the pulse yield and the reflections, because if you don't sell, you get more Mo token every day. You're already looking at almost 40% APR, just by holding the token. So it's really everything that we've learned from other protocols that have done right, and then what have protocols have done wrong, and then putting real yield on top of that is really creating something I'm extremely bullish on. Whether you're a Pulse fan or not, this economic model will be really powerful no matter what chain we put it on for sure. So, all right. I think that is it now. Was there anything else, LA?
Let's see. There was one more regarding Sonic.
Yeah. So I'm super bullish on Sonic. I made a post in our DAO chat. If you guys aren't using Sonic, I would highly recommend that you start experimenting on Sonic. It's again what used to be Phantom Network, rebranded to Sonic. Andre Kanye is the founder. He is a DeFi nerd. I really think Sonic will be the future home of DeFi. And shout out to SwapX. They are a V3 DEX right now on Sonic that's been killing it. A lot of great protocols on Sonic, and because of the history of Phantom, a lot of these tomb forks or seigniorage protocols started on Phantom and now are moving to Sonic. And we've seen a couple seigniorage protocols already launch um, on Sonic, and we are in the midst of resurrecting the DOS protocols. So again, detonator as a service, completely separate from us as a protocol. We're simply earning for licensing that software, and we have no influence on the success or failure of that contract, but it is revenue to us as a protocol. And there is one in particular. Again, I'm not quite ready to say who it is, but one of the tomb forks on Sonic will be having a new DOS contract. So really exciting stuff in regards to that. And those of you that know how to play the game of DOS may have a little bit of an advantage already ready to go. So as soon as we announce who that is, those that understand that Detonator is a game can freely participate in that, and we get part of the fees back home to EMP and dexFi and everything that we're doing. So we're really ramping up our revenue streams to really make this as sustainable as possible, both through Fusion payouts and GDEX support. So, all right, awesome. And yeah, again, we'll have a lot more updates on Sonic as we go, but definitely check it out and start getting familiar with it.
Killer. Amazing. Shall we move on to some questions?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, absolutely.
Awesome. We had a couple on Discord, so we'll start that. Any update on the Peg Exchange battery?
Yeah, so again, this the PancakeSwap battery is working. Funds are there. I mentioned this a little bit in the last AMA. Because of the way we utilize the distribution, we have to fund it with the Chainlink oracles. So it is part of the VRF on how the logic works as through Chainlink, and we have to actually fund the contract every month to be able to work. So we're looking at other options where we can maybe do the same thing, but without having to spend all the money on Chainlink VRFs. Because again, the more money we spend, the less money goes into rewards. So the short answer is we're working on it. Right now, again, they are kind of on pseudo pause, but there are rewards in them. So keep an eye out again at random intervals. It may start working again. So
Awesome. Okay, next one. Can you explain eShare price and how it correlates to BNB? Why has the eShare price dipped recently?
yeah, so again, the short answer is price is always determined by buying and selling, regardless of the underlying asset or the liquidity. If more people buy the token, the price goes up. If more people sell the token, the price goes down. So again, on top of that, yes, it is correlated with the overall market, because even if there was zero buys or sells, then if you're paired to BNB in this case, if BNB goes up, then the price goes up automatically, even with zero buys and sells, or vice versa. If it goes down, it brings the price down with it. In terms of eShare specifically, I think it's a multitude of factors. I think a lot of people were selling eShare to be able to buy EMP and sacrifice. I think eShare definitely it's taking a bit of a back seat right now with peg recovery, but ultimately eShare is the speculative asset of the entire ecosystem, and now it is the money of the ecosystem as well. Because remember, you have to have eShare to buy energy in Fusion. So all those transactions, especially when we start transacting only in microgrids where you can't buy EMP on the market, all 100% of all the volume and all the economic energy will now be transferred to eShare rather than EMP. So again, not financial advice, but eShare is an absolute sleeper, and the supply is extremely low. Way less than, I think the last time I looked was less than 50,000 eShare on the market when you look at the burn address. And we have a halving model with that where eShare really is deflationary, even in today's, even with the monthly or the yearly halving. So again, yes, eShare, I would say it's more because of the sentiment where EMP is getting all the spotlight right now. But if you're bullish on, Fusion long term, eShare is a great way to speculate on that. And if you do like exposure to BNB, eShare is also powerful. I'm really bullish on BNB too. I think we easily see multi-thousand-dollar BNB. It's if you look at the BNB chart, I mean, good God, it's just up and to the right forever. So don't count out CZ and everybody behind BNB either. I think having eShare, having that liquidity paired to BNB is really bullish. Again, we're talking long-term vision, not the next pump and dump for sure.
Totally. All right, next one. Why is there a high price impact when buying eShare on dexSwap, even when using BNB?
Yeah, so I don't think there is. Last I looked, buying eShare was very little price impact. Selling eShare might be, a different story because some people aren't willing to provide liquidity at the lower levels because they don't want to sell their eShare, below what they feel is fair. So there may be, and that's just how V3 concentrated liquidity works. If you're outside the range, then the liquidity is a lot less. So, but buying eShare, there should be very minimal price impact. And again, as we start recovering peg and we have a lot more freedom in terms of where revenue is shared, the plan is to absolutely increase the liquidity of eShare as well. So but yeah, if you are experiencing a big price impact on buying, maybe reach out to Stinky or some of the other admins. But as far as I know, everything has been working fine.
Okay, awesome. Okay, a couple of these in the chats I answered typing, but I'm just going to read them out loud and reiterate the answers. So, quick question about Fusion Watch. Is the monthly top gainers based on the latest sacrifice, or does it add all your sacrifices for the month? So, it is cumulative. It will add all of your sacrifices for the month. That is the case whether you're talking about the weekly or the monthly competition.
Awesome. There you go. Thank you, Tony. Good question and answered.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we already answered that one. That's it, actually. Oh.
Wow. All right. Man, that might be a record. Totally. LA took care of all of them while I was rambling on. So, yeah. All right. Awesome stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah. I think cool Dr. Money ETF with EMP is super bullish. Yeah, 100%, man. I'm excited for that. And again, Grover is the Vault master, so I'm sure he'll be doing posts about different Vault strategies that incorporate the new EMP ETF. And again, as a community, it is important that we put at least some money into those vaults because it will be putting buying pressure on eShare and EMP, and you're getting ETH too, so you're still earning, without having to just do it for the good of the protocol. You're earning more EMP, you're earning more eShare, and you're earning more ETH by doing it. So.
Last question here that I see Grover answered, but can you just highlight for us the process of buying and selling Mo and what slippage they need to set and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I should have done that. I'm sorry. So yeah, with Mo,
And where to buy it?
yeah, totally. So you will want to go. Actually, I'll just go ahead and do this. Hang on. All right. All right, so the easiest way is to bridge over to Pulse. Again, we can use the SparkSwap bridge. It is still working. Just remember to check, for the most liquidity, and don't do large transactions at once over, $1,000 or so. But honestly, again, I mean, if you do want to go more than that, just use the main Ethereum-based bridge for Pulse. But the easy way is to just go to Dex Screener, and we have all these links in our socials, and hit this button right here, trade Mo for Rat PLS, and you can literally do it right here on Go PulseX. All the liquidity is on PulseX, so I'll show you that in a minute here. What you do want to do though is go to this little button right here and hit slippage, and you're gonna want to put 5 or 6%. The tax is 5, but if you want to make sure it goes through, 6 is usually better. So just put 6 right there, and then you buying and selling will go through because of the slippage. And then if you're not on Dex Screener, you can just go directly to PulseX. And yeah, this is pulsex.mypinata.cloud. You can find all the PulseX links everywhere else, but you would just do it like you're like a normal swap. You would do pulse to Mo. I don't have it. I don't know if I have it put in on this wallet, but you would just paste the contract address right here, and then it would show up. So those are the two ways of buying Mo, and yeah, hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Okay, we have. Oh, Mark, your question was already answered earlier, so you'll have to go back and watch that on the replay once we post the timestamps. But yeah, I think that's it. I just wanted to say thank you guys for joining us. It's been great to be back in the full swing of the action here with you guys. I love our Thursday night chats. So thanks for attending live, and shout out to all of you who are watching the replay as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. And don't forget, in 25 minutes, we've also got our HVM AMA coming up.
I love it. Yes, Ellie, great to have you back. And yeah, we're locked and loaded. I mean, again, sentiment has been great. We're outperforming the overall market. We are doing everything that we said we were going to do. And shout out to all of you that have really, stuck with us and put in the effort and supported the protocol and had the vision. This is a community-based project, and it's up to all of. We wouldn't have a protocol if it wasn't for all of you. So again, shout out to you, and we're seeing the fruits of our labor come into play now as peg recovery and everything else is happening. So yeah, and all right, so that'll do it. That'll wrap it up. We'll have a lot more updates on the next AMA. By then, again, we'll have migrations totally settled. We'll have updates on CashYaps. We'll probably even have Jake join us from DexFi for some updates there. And in the meantime, keep an eye on all of our socials. Anything that we pin is legitimate. Again, don't respond to scammers. If it's a DM, it's a scam. So just be very careful on that front. And yeah, like Ella said, on top of all of this, we have some big updates for our game, Honor vs. Madness. So join us on that AMA in about 30 minutes, a little less, again on YouTube. And we have a really cool video to show tonight for HVM. And it matters to all of you because when the game is live, again, part of that revenue will be coming home to EMP and DexFi and Fusion and everything that we're building. So please help us support all parts of the ecosystem, not just Fusion, alone. So, all right, good night, good day. We will see you all next week, Thursday, 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Bye bye, everyone. Have a great weekend.